Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the Fish Tank. So there's enough now for 4 full football teams to all watch the Fish Tank. So, or if you think about it, if there's one football team with a lot of free time, they could perhaps watch the Fish Tank 4 times. Say for example the England team, as they're not going to compete in Euro 2008 due to an absolutely terrible performance last week against Croatia. So should be ashamed of yourself. You're given a second chance and they go and cock it up completely. That's the way it is. Time for apology of the week now, and in episode 28 I sat on top of a tank and recorded an episode of a fish tank. It was Fish Tank from a tank. This tank has now been removed, so no one's actually fully sure where it's gone. However, I believe that this was stolen by a fan of the Fish Tank who wants to keep it as memorabilia. So please put it back. I apologise to the people who are fans of this tank, who are just normal residents of the world who just want a quiet life to look at the tank. I apologise to them on behalf of one of my fans, who quite clearly has gone and stolen it as memorabilia. So please put it back. You know, it might be a bit heavy to carry back, but please do it. If you want to get in touch with me, and I can possibly try and sort it out, you know, we'll have to wait and see. So what's been happening this week? Well, I've been quite ill actually. Last few days, Monday, I was very ill. I kept being sick, and also I got a great big rash on my shoulder, and I had to go to the medical centre. They asked me if I've struggled and suffered with diphoxyphenyl hydrochloritis. I said only way I've tried to spell it, and they sent me on my way. They said my rash is just. I showed them my rash, and the woman at the medical centre said, "Ooh, I've never seen one like that before." Which hardly thrills me, but that's the way it is like. So yeah, I'm fine now and everything, so can't complain. And obviously, as I've mentioned before, in England football, they were absolutely terrible. So they're not going to Euro 2008, which means the wags get to stay indoors. You know what I mean by wags? The fake tan wearing, haircut obsessed, tattooed, handbag carrying football players. It's their wives and girlfriends. So yeah, apparently there's a lot of complaints saying that something to do with the pitch at Wembley. Apparently there was a design fault in the pitch, which meant they couldn't play as well as they could. Personally speaking, I think the main design fault in Wembley is the fact that the seats actually face the pitch, which if England were playing, you really don't want to be watching them if they're playing as bad as they did against Croatia. They're absolutely terrible. But there you go. So what else has been happening? The Queen, our Queen of the UK, has been married now for 60 years. So a good achievement for the Queen and Prince Philip. Yes, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Just had to think there for a moment. Been married for 60 years. Prince Charles says he congratulated him. He says he absolutely loves marriage. That's why he's done it twice. And so he obviously loves marriage more than adultery, which he only did once. And yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing. They might go on a second honeymoon perhaps, but I hope they don't, because obviously the first honeymoon they had gave us Prince Charles. So what else has been happening? Well, nothing I can think of. So it's time for the Celebometer. Who would like on this week's show? Well, I quite like David Cameron on this week's show, because the other day he said something to do with, he was talking about people being a lot smarter, children being smarter. He said children should tuck their shirts in, and he said children should tuck their shirts in to pull their socks up. So I'd like David Cameron on the show to say how he manages to get this one system where moving your clothes in one direction does something else to your clothes in another direction. So feel free to explain that, Dave. As well as he could mention this thing to do with some CD discs being put in the post and then going missing, which is a rather strange thing. CDs just like gone missing. No one has any idea where they are. It could be this CD perhaps. Could be that. Apparently they weren't encrypted, they were password solved, and they were sent by recorded delivery, which, let's face it, is no good, because all recorded delivery is just telling the postman that what you've got in the post is worth nicking. So not a very good system. So it's time for headline of the week, and well, it's not actually a headline this time. It's an advertisement placed in the Galloway News, and it says parachute used once, never opened. Small stain, £50 or nearest offer. So can't help think it never been opened. used once and there been a small stain on it, probably connects up. Is the stain possibly a red one from where someone has fallen out of the sky quite fast, hit the floor, and then got a red stain on the parachute? You might say, perhaps. I don't know, obviously. So it's time for quote of the week as well, which is, I thought I heard someone trying to get in my room then. Someone trying to handle. So it's time for quote of the week, which is from Sir Alex Ferguson. He said, I said it pre-season. In fact, I said it before the season began. So, you never know, he might have said it in advancement of the season commencing, possibly. We don't know with Sir Alex. He obviously jumbles his words a bit, but yeah, I think those two are actually the same thing there, Sir Alex. So yeah, it's, that brings the end of the show, and yeah, as the South African prop forward gets put into touch by the English hooker, or if the English hooker to say that's going to cost a little bit more, it's time to say goodbye, and I'll see you next week, as ever. So see you next week for episode 45. Goodbye.